If you look at various media news, consultant papers, a lot of consultancies, news were saying China have a leading edge on the AI development prior to 4Q last year. But after the chip bans, that posed a huge uncertainty and big challenge to China. But for China, the second largest economy, and if AI is really the fourth industrial revolution, China will have to respond to it. Right? Today, 85% of China's AI chips are imported, but that will probably not be the case in the next 5 years or next 10 years. So on one side, certainly China is facing massive challenges from these chip bans and the tech decoupling. But on the other side, localization will probably present a lot of opportunities for the local players. So, with China's massive focus and investment into this area, we might see a lot of local champions emerging from this trend.
If you don't have the chips that are able to do the high-end compute that are required for these AI processes, and the timeline for that, if China is seeking to catch up to where NVIDIA and AMD are now, and especially without the advanced lithography that they were previously being able to get from the likes of ASML, or having TSMC help them out in terms of the yields, how long or how much longer do investors have to wait in that respect for what we're seeing now or even next year in terms of AI in the US to have a similar kind of level of adoption and, I suppose, ability on that front in China? Is it a 3 years, 5 years, or is it sooner?
Yeah. So on this chip ban, it's not black and white. A100, NVIDIA's A100 chips, for example, there's some data saying that in China, there's probably more than 500,000 in stock, but it's deployed in various data centers, cloud services. So not all of them can be used to train the large language models. But it doesn't mean China has zero A100 chips. In fact, China have a lot, right? So, it will be a composition of leveraging what we had in stock and also using what NVIDIA is providing China, the A800 and H800, which is tailor-made based on the U.S. sanctions, and as building up China's own capability. So it will be a gradual mixed change rather than a black and white saying, foreign versus local. And this will be a gradual process. As I mentioned, currently, the estimate is that roughly 15% of China's AI chips are domestically made, which said China still have some capabilities in building its own chips.
But how advanced can they get in chip manufacturing, Winnie, given the restrictions imposed thus far? And also, we look at the R&D part of the equation when it comes to chip manufacturing. What about equipment makers for chip manufacturing, like ASML? If they are isolated in their relationship with China, then doesn't that turn out to be a double whammy for China's chip development plans?
Absolutely. If you look at the overall chip supply chain or even the AI supply chain, we are discussing in terms of advanced chip manufacturing, the equipment and the GPUs are the biggest bottlenecks, right? Industry estimates vary from somewhere between 5 to 10 years to 10 to 15 years. That's a timeline estimated for China to localize or catch up. But when we look at the broader chip industry, the advanced leading edge chip is actually a very small part. Even for AIs, training AI model need the most leading edge high computing power chips. But for inferencing, for day-to-day operation, China can actually use the chips with lower computing power. So yes, there is a bottleneck, but it doesn't mean China's AI industry development or chip industry development will be stopped there. And it's really the big uncertainty is when can China make the big breakthrough. But it will be mixed news for the global providers that if China does make the breakthrough, it will probably be similar to other industries like manufacturing, solar, EV, that China will be lowering the margin, lowering the cost, and be a powerful competitor for the global providers.